All right, Joshua, please do well and call us again. In case you're just joining us, you're watching The Lounge. My name is Melanie Ishola. Joining me today have been, of course, my delectable Margaret. It's not possible to call Margaret and not a delectable Sha. Delectable Margaret Osazua. And I have Dele Aino. We've been doing justice to the rising cost of living dilemma. And we're asking Nigerians, how una dey? Now, in the spirit of asking you, we know that this is as much as our story as it is your story. And we're asking that you please put a call across and let's have this wholesome conversation. Now, numbers to call 091-3373-4592. Again, 091-3373-4592. And that means you get to call us, we get to pick it. The number is right there on your screen as well. We've spoken about a number of things. There's been the conversation around how music has told a lot of our stories in the past and what held through, right? What held true some 20, 30, 40 years ago seemingly are still, it's still true today. And then we've also looked at how Nigerians are dealing at a time like this. The prices and how they fluctuate and how it practically, literally affects us. Now, Dele, indeed frustrations rose and I think it's even past boiling point as there have been so many demonstrations and this has given rise to a series of protests in Niger State, Kano State. Imagine the blockade of major roads in Niger State and demonstrations by bakers in Kano State. And this speaks to signs of potential destitution, in my opinion. I bought bread a couple of days back and I am personally pained because I think I was scammed. Now, a colleague bought bread and I felt this was so fluffy. And I said, I couldn't finish this much bread. Can I buy a smaller version of this bread of the same make? Right? And so I was sold bread from the same maker and it seems that a different constitution was put into the bigger and pricier bread than the 400 naira bread that I bought with my full chest and my money had earned. Right? And I ended up not even being able to eat the bread. I went to beg for the colleague's bread whom I had tasted earlier to be able to eat my ewa. It seems today is about me and the love for ewa. But again, you may say the love for ewa is in a way to cope with the austere times that we might have found ourselves in Nigeria. Now, the interesting part was Governor Abba Yusuf described the situation of the people as living in misery amid starvation and acute deprivation, if I'm not wrong. But the point there is, I want to bring in the government part into this conversation. What really are the governments doing? In pockets of places where these protests have sprung up in the past few days, part of the responses have been that, this is the handwork of the opposition. And I said, is opposition that is feeding people in their houses. Dele, are you receiving your salary from the opposition?
No.
Okay, please.
Now, looking at what the government should have done or should do, I think I'd rather start with what the government shouldn't have done. I think it was wrong for the government to remove subsidy immediately, they came in. Basically in Nigeria, we are we majorly import things and we only export crude oil. We hardly produce anything in this country other than the crude that we send overseas to be refined and brought back, shipped back to us. And we pay for that almost through our nostrils. So where we had manufacturing outfits, because of certain policies and the harsh economic condition we have found ourselves, largely created by policies made by the government, many of these manufacturers have left Nigeria.
Yes, please.
So you have many people who've been thrown into the labor market. The cost of products, commodities have since gone up because, one, it's costlier to produce them. And then two, you have fewer firms
that are producing.
That are producing.
I think I got heartbroken personally, Dilly, when Procter & Gamble left.
Left.
& Gamble at Ibadan was next to my first secondary school. And during break, we would go out, we see a lot of pharmacies. That was when I wanted to become a pharmacist in my life. And I would look at them in their laboratory clothes, and then I would love it. We'd go and buy cupcakes, right? And then I would get at Oluyole estate in Ibadan. And then I would get the cupcakes. And then we'll go back, and then I'll go home and say to my father, Dad, I want to be a pharmacist. I want to be a pharmacist. You know, a number of these things inspired us to dream. But beyond the inspiring us to dream, it empowered several households.
Exactly.
Put food on a lot
table.
of tables. Now, when these foods are taken away, where are the replacements?
No replacements.
The result.
Now, talking about pharmacists, Melanie, there are many drugs that are beyond the reach of the average Nigerian. Imagine something that was selling for 1,005 around January last year, selling for 17,000, 20,000 now, 1,700 just about a year ago, now going for 17,000, 20,000. How do you begin to explain that?
Have been about the most hits.
Oh my God.
With regards to prices
Oh
of
my
drugs,
God.
and we need to talk about
Oh my
it.
God. The last time I went to the pharmacy to get something, and the lady told me the price. I said, sorry, I'm telling you that this is what I want to buy. Or that one that used to sell that She said, Auntie, this is the 1,000. I said, no, I need to check the name. She was like, I was like, are you joking? I said, please, is there another one that still works? It will still do the work. Give me that one.
It's interesting. I had a conversation with Adibade Omakpe yesterday, one of our reporters, where he said he was pursuing a story with a woman on X who had taken to X to declare that small business had collapsed off the back of purchasing inhaler for a child.
Wow.
Because the prices of inhaler had skyrocketed. And of course, for people who have asthma and other respiratory and sort of illnesses and have to depend
The inhaler is something you can't do without.
You cannot do without it. You can't even manage it. I have an aunt who suffers from, and so sometimes when it's finishing, she says to you, no, don't give me the finished one. You have to you can't manage it.
Oh my God.
I felt like crying.
And people have to live like that.
And people have to live like that. So if your business has collapsed off the back of financing the health needs of one child, we're not talking of the education need of that child, we're not talking of the feeding need of that child, we're not talking of luxurious needs, clothing, what's not, we're not talking of pleasure needs, plays, cinemas.
You know, a friend was telling me just last weekend, he lives in Arepo, and they go on hospital outreaches, and he was telling me about meeting mothers in certain situations that have lost their child, lost their children because they couldn't afford to pay maybe 50 naira. You know, malaria drug. Now that's not the terrible part. The terrible part is the hospital refused to release the corpse of the child until they would have offset the bill.
Oh my goodness.
So it's that bad in Nigeria right now.
Now, so before it got this bad, people would normally talk about, the inhumane treatments they get from hospitals and whatnot. But I want to for a second think about it. If I was running a hospital in Nigeria, there are recurrent expenditures. Diesel, petrol, payment of salaries. Let's get practical. I think it's high time we got very humane with the way we do this analysis. And so bad as it's just 50 naira that cost the death. And honestly, right now, I have goose pimples. How practically should the hospital business manage it such that they don't also lose revenue? The losses are a lot. A mother has lost a child.
The hospital too probably lost something.
Who is going to be the angel that comes in between there to absorb the shock? How is the shock being absorbed? Speaking of shock, Margaret, yes, please.
It's just quite unfortunate, really. You know, there was a time I sat down and I just thought to myself, do these people really see the pains? Do they feel it? Do they even see it? Because they are up there and then their people are down here. And I asked again, do you people even see? You know, when they come up with all these press releases and nowadays, I'm not even moved by all those things. I mean, they say action speaks louder than words. All those things, they're pen to paper. Do something. You know, I was scared one day and I said, I pray that we'll not get to the point that when we are on the road, we start to see people people's bodies. May we not get there? Because it's happening.
No.
You try to get into a bus now, and you see people are they are begging like their life depends on. They say even if it's 15 naira, the smallest, give me. And see, if you give them 15 naira, the way they will pray for you, you look as if you're giving them 5,000.
5,000.
Yes.
It's actually, and you know,
And what can 15 naira purchase?
nothing right now. No, 2 pure water. Yes, you know, I was telling you something about a little girl. That girl should not be up to. If she's too young, she'll be like 10.
Right.
That girl be 10. You know what she does? She sells pure water. A bag of pure water is what she sells all day. Because I watched her. When it gets to like 2 sachets of pure water, she finds a beautiful auntie or a handsome uncle and begins to emotionally blackmail you. If she's by the time she's done with you, tell you how beautiful you look, how she loves you. You know, you are moved by as such a young girl. You know, so outspoken. You want to get into her head. How are you? So how was school today? She's auntie, I don't feel go school today. Oh, time's hard though. I don't feel buy textbook. You know, you're moved. You want to help. How much is textbook? Okay, let's go to Amber Bookshop. I'm telling you, true life story. True life. Let's go to Amber Bookshop. This girl said no. That in the school, they will not allow her to sit without buying the textbook from
The school.
Which is also true.
which is also true in some schools.
Okay, please.
So it was a believable story. My brother and my sister. And I brought out money. I say, humanitarian.
That you are.
That I am.
Philanthropist.
Gave this auntie. She told me, thank you. The way people were looking at me that day on the road, I did not know that. Auntie, she
You've
have
been
gone.
played.
The next time I would see that young girl, I changed my hair. And she came. If this thing in me that I really, oh God, it's funny, but it's not funny. I'm
Margaret,
telling you.
I understand.
Oh,
and
God.
even if a child can conceive of such calm and be able to live it as a mean of survival. Now, I beg your pardon. Now, very quickly before we move to wrapping up on the program. So it's interesting that we haven't brought in the NLC,
TUC.
conversation.
I think
And
even to issue a
somebody is
strike.
asking, wait, where are they? Where are they? You know, it's like we still have NLC.
They are there like they are not there now.
Okay.
People no longer believe in NLC. NLC cannot call for strike now and anybody will follow them.
The ones that follow them still have a little faith. You know,
I
have
think
a little faith in
they've
me.
lost value. They've lost relevance. They've lost the trust the people had in them. Yeah.
Now, speaking of trust and relevance, I think we just have enough time to accommodate this one call. Hello, good evening. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hello.
Yes, good evening. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello? Yes, please. Your name and where you are calling from? Okay, please do well and call again, and I hope you do before the show is a wrap. Speaking of NLC, we have a situation where the NLC has now said starting and effective immediately, meaning tomorrow, they are embarking on a 12-day
14.
strike.
I think it's 14.
Is it 14 or 12?
14.
14-day strike, in which case, off the back of how the government had refused to respect the conclusions and the agreements of the October 2, 2023. And in my mind, I'm like, no, excuse sir, you mean since October 2, 2023, this is February 8, 2024. Sure, you are just waking up. No, it's a big question.
2 questions for NLC. So what will happen after the 14th day?
Yeah.
1.
Question 2. What will happen between day 1 of the strike and the last day of the strike? Won't they come to tell us that, they've reached an agreement after day 3 or day 4? And so
we'll
they
wait
are
another
calling
6
off.
months for the agreement to be.
Let them go and sit down.
That's literally what they always say. We've reached an agreement, and that agreement.
It's just PR. It's just a PR communication release, and everything is back to normal. While I want to put my last cent of hope in the NLC, hoping they actually do get it right this time. Now, lady, gentlemen, as we make a wrap, I'd like for you to very quickly, and it's interesting that a federal high court in Lagos State today issued an order. That's interesting.
Yeah,
We don't even have the time to talk about it. An order to the federal government to fix prices. But if you now were to advise the federal government, in just a minute, lady and gentlemen, how do you fix prices?
If you are not producing anything, you can't fix the price.
True.
If I bought at 500 naira to $1, and you want to fix price based on 250 naira to $1, it will never work.
Who's paying the subsidy?
Who's going to pay for the subsidy? Who's going to, pay for the loss I'd incurred buying at 500 naira to $1? So it's not possible. You can only fix prices if you have something you have produced and you have stored up somewhere.
For you, it's about us going back to production.
Yeah.
Margaret.
I think I agree with Dini on that one. I think we should take agriculture more seriously here. We have a fertile land. There are a lot of things that we can produce by ourselves instead of importing. And I think if we can get that right, we are good to go.
Margaret, in getting this right, we need to send you back to the market. Please stretch forth your hands. Let me see your nails. Well trained, well done, well manicured. And I am as guilty as she is. But I guess we'll get rid of these nails right now.
You ladies are very
so
big.
That,
you are comfortable people.
No. We are big girls. But I'm happy to be borrowing Margaret's powder until I'm able to purchase my own. And that's how we say goodbyes.
Wow.
That's how we say goodbyes on the lounge.
Nigerians, I say keep hope alive.
I think
don't lose it.
We should end the show on an Nwabali note.
Exactly.
Nwabali. Thank you for joining us on the lounge. Do catch us next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.